at Business at Breakfast, every week, one of the members gets the opportunity to share with the group further insights into their business or enlighten the group a little bit more about themselves. The members can use this time to problem solve or seek assistance and advice from the group as a collective. The time is theirs to use however they would like. Today, we have the wonderful Bill Murch. So Bill has been working with computer-aided design systems, commonly referred to as CAD, for longer than he cares to admit. You'll have to ask him yourself how long that has been if you really want to know. He is an acknowledged expert in the field of automating these design systems. Early in his career, Bill recognised there were multiple ways to improve the efficiency of any CAD system. It might be as simple as creating more appropriate templates, creating smart parts, or setting up keyboard shortcuts. It could be more involved, like menu redesign or configuration tables, or it might be as advanced as macros, custom programs, or even a fully automated design system. He's been involved in them all. Recently, Bill saw an opportunity to take these skills to a wider market, so he started his own company, IDM Consulting, with the purpose of helping companies improve the efficiency of their design processes. And with that, Bill, you have up to 8 minutes to tell us more about what you do. I'm just setting a timer now. Now, at the 8-minute mark, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to actually cut you off.
Sure.
It's hard, but that's up to you, right? If you're less than 8 minutes, there's more time for us to ask you questions. But with that, Bill, you can take it away.
Thanks, Misty. Thanks for the opportunity of presenting. You talked at the start there of reasons for people doing things. My reason is to network more, but also perhaps to just simply explain what I do. Because my joke is when I go to networking meetings and explain what I do, people just, their eyes glaze over because they have no idea what I'm talking about. And being a bit of a nerd and a tech head, it's sometimes find it hard to get out of the tech space and explain it in more general terms. So hopefully today we'll do that. I should just mention I've got my very first, where's my hand? Very first Zoom background here, so I don't know how good it is. I don't know if it looks good with my head between all the text, but anyway, I just want to be able to point to words as I'm talking. Hopefully you can see it okay.
Yes, so, it's backwards from my end, but it looks good.
oh, backwards.
No, don't touch it. Just leave it like that. You do the rest of your talk.
No, because I'm a tech head, I have the other way around as well.
Oh my God, that was so fast.
Yeah.
All right, your talk's over. I think you just showed us something.
I foresaw that. Okay, good, thank you. Okay,
Bill can flip your business in the right direction.
Oh, thanks, Stuart. There you go. Hey, hang on.
We've got that on recording. We can go back.
Can I use that? Yeah. Yeah. Just to recap, Bill Murch, IDM Consulting. I won't go into all the elevator pitch because I'm going to cover that more in the actual discussion or more talk. But just to give you my background, so I'm originally a mechanical design engineer, and I'm old enough, some of you aren't, I'm old enough to remember pre-computing days of working on the drawing board. So that's how I started, pen, paper, pencil on the drawing board. But I was lucky to get involved in some of the very early CAD systems. Now, a CAD system is simply the way to draw on a computer. You've already all seen Microsoft Paint. That's very basic. A CAD system or computer-aided design system allows you to draw proper lines, you sketch things out. It can be, you can draw things in full scale. So that was very early on, all 2D. Then I was fortunate enough, I had the opportunity to start working with some companies who sell the CAD software. So rather than being a designer using it, I wasn't selling it, I was sort of training, support, that sort of stuff, and learning more and more about it at the back end. And so this is really early on in my work with CAD, but lots of companies then wanted, but they had to ask us, oh, look, we have to do this thing the same way all the time. We have to do 5 clicks and it's a bit boring. Can you shortcut that somehow? So we give little keyboard shortcuts, or we give little menu shortcuts, because that was 1 or 2 or 3 little things they wanted to do, and they loved it. And I could see a pattern. All customers wanted this sort of customizing, and then it got a bit bigger, and they said, well, we don't use all these options over here on the menu, we use some of these, so can you put them together? So we create custom menus for them. or they'd say, oh, we keep having to work on a file. We have to change it slightly for this job. So we create what I loosely call flexible components, where you can easily change things. And then it got smarter. People asked us, well, can you go beyond that? We did a little bit more. We spend 5 minutes doing this, and we only change one number. So we write a little macro for them. A macro is like a simple program, but it's in English, as opposed to programs that are not in English. Or we'd write some more sophisticated programs for them. So, and they would love that. So that became a theme for me very early on. I saw that need, and I really enjoyed doing it, I found. So I will do that more and more. In 2008, I started working with a company called, a company in Sydney, who sold SolidWorks software. So get the right hand up here, this one up here, SolidWorks. So it's probably the most popular 3D CAD program in the world. So this is 3D. A lot of my early stuff was 2D only. This is now 3D. So you can model things in 3D, spin them around, zoom in and out, model it full size. You can do also some really, really clever things. You can check how heavy it's going to be. You can check if things fit together or not before you ever actually make them. So you can design entire systems. And I did the same thing with that software. Keyboard shortcuts, menu customization, tweaking this, tweaking that, and more and more. Macros, little programs. We had a team, so we could do that sort of stuff. And that was all fun. Then in 2010, it was a game changer for me, software called DriveWorks. So DriveWorks works with SolidWorks, but you can create an entire system to automate an entire process that could take weeks, and it suddenly becomes minutes of your work and a couple of hours of processing on the computer. So that's a design automation system. So let's define that a little bit more for you. So design automation system, well, at least this one works, is there are five stages to it, the way I see it. You have to talk to your customer about their product and find out all of their smarts. Everybody says, oh, no, our product's really simple. It'll be really easy to do this. Then I start asking questions. Okay, so tell me about your product. And they tell me. Okay, and what about if you do this? Oh, well, if we do that, then we have to do this as well. Okay, and if you do that one? Oh, yeah, well, that means we also have to do that. Well, what happens if you do this? Oh, I don't know, John does that. Hang on, I'll have to call John in. It only takes half an hour before they realize that they have a very sophisticated product with lots of if, buts, and maybes. And to automate it is going to take time to get all the information out of their heads, multiple heads, into a system that can answer those questions. So the first step of a design automation system is to get information out of the people's heads. The second step is to create what we call a design master. So we take their product and we create a generic version of it that's set up, ready to be automated. Then we create a form, a smart form, where people enter all the key information required to drive this master design. And I call it a smart form because as they enter information, then as they go through the forms, there's usually more than one, these forms will change or adapt to what they've already entered, so they can exclude the wrong answers or add more information that's required based on the early answers. That's where John's information comes in, for example. And John's information pops up and allows them to make some more informed decisions. So the idea is the forms lead them through the process and they cannot make a mistake. Then we write rules. And this is a bit more, I guess, simplified AI. Just a quick diversion. I've joined Talon's online course. Had a chat with him yesterday and I'm so excited about that. So just the AI part. My stuff is, well, maybe AI, but smart rules, very, very clever rules. And that connects the data put in from the form with this master design. And then that runs through the system. You press the go button and all that information is processed off to the CAD system and effectively tells the CAD system what to do. So instead of you doing it, moving the mouse around, clicking here, clicking there, making decisions, all these rules send a bunch of instructions to the software and it does it for you. It can also send information to Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, for example. You can create quote documents. You can create and send emails. You can create instruction manuals. Whole manuals can be created, all based on master files. And then, so that's the basis of it. If you think of, I was going to say, it's gone. Yes, the two focuses on this system here is that all this stuff can be put on the web as well. So as a company, you could actually get your customer to log into your system and they fill in the information of what they want. So you as the company, you're not even involved yet. The customer's doing the work for you, but they're putting in what they want. And then the system can be set up to send an email to you saying, Fred Blogs has done this, and you need to review what they've done and maybe contact them to discuss their requirements. You may have sent a quote to them straight away. So you follow up on the quote. There's already a connection that's set up. The other thing the system can do is take your designers, who are usually very clever people, and stop them doing the same thing over and over again with just minimal changes. They can now punch in numbers or have somebody else do it. The system does all the mundane stuff, and they get freed up to do more exciting stuff, new stuff, or rework their products. So that becomes far more interesting for the designers themselves. Okay, so look, just quickly wrap up. Recently, I've started working with another bit of software called SWOOD, which is SolidWorks Wood. It's also automating your design, but specifically aimed at woodworking type industries. So you may be wondering what you can and can't automate with this sort of system. Literally any system. The only limitation really is you must be using the SolidWorks software as a basis for everything. But you can automate, for example, products I've worked with or projects, water tanks, sheds and garages, truck bodies, bicycles, men's razors, would you believe? You can customize men's razors, put your own name on your razor. I should say men's, could be women's as well. Pool fences, furniture, this is kitchens and bathrooms for SWOOD, even caravans and motorhomes. They use SWOOD to design their internal layout, full size. Look, lots of waffling there, but hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea with a bit more English rather than the techie terms. Thanks for listening. I'll throw any questions.
I have a question for you, Bill.
Yeah, Faye.
Go, Faye.
As we've had many discussions about this, I find it quite fascinating because with the work that you do and working with the organisations that you work with, if a customer wants something designed, they can actually use this technology in their own home on their own computer to design their own, whatever it is, a table, a bike, a razor, whatever. So individuals can connect with these organisations that use this techie stuff, and I'll say that.
Yeah.
And they can be creative and then send it off to wherever it is, the organisation, and they can produce that product or whatever it is for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, in simple terms, yeah. It's web-based, so if you know about it, you can get onto the website and you can feed in all your parameters. Just as an example, a shed company I work with, they got big farm-type sheds, and their customers could log on there and key in information, and images would appear for them, showing them how their shed will look. So they could see straight away, oh no, I don't want the door there. Can I move the door around to the side over here instead? So that's the sort of thing that can be done. Yeah, and the bicycle I mentioned,
Yes.
This is a company in the States, they don't stock bicycles. They let the person put in all the information about themselves, their body information, and then they make a custom bicycle in about the same time you could order a standard bicycle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Stuart, you've got your hand up.
Oh, you're talking my language. This is brilliant. But here's the thing: while it's, it seems to be in the realm of what the heck, but you can seriously do some amazing stuff. The power of this is brilliant. I can give you a real life situation. Way back in the day, before any of this, this was possible with a proper computer. There was a need for a hospital that I was working with, because the nurses were breaking all of the door stoppers. So we needed to create the most robust door stopper that wouldn't break the back of the door. So using very ancient technology without this power that probably would have taken, could have taken a month to put this together, they created the perfect door stopper. So that, and the system that cup and ball and was amazing. So the whole thing is, what these systems can do is take what's in your head, put it onto a screen, allow you to easily manipulate it, send it to the right people to create it. And so we do this every day with what we do. It's complex, but your systems could make it very, very straightforward. We're going to talk. One of my clients, I'm just going to pop this in the chat there. One of our clients does prototyping, uses every system apart from SWOOD, which that sounds incredible. I've done woodwork and lathe work before, trying to get the thing to look the same every time. Back in the day, they'd have a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard and go, that's similar. But now it can be like table leg, complicated, looks like a unicorn horn, which is very hard to actually create. It's amazing. And that particular gentleman that I've put that link in, he prototypes parts and they print in titanium. So what they print and design, prototype, can literally bolt straight onto a car, onto a plane, go from their minds using the systems and go straight into actual production. They prototype, but they actually create low volume products. Let's talk. This is the future. It's been going on for a long time. Amazing.
You mentioned bringing out of your brain one customer that they actually have their front end office staff who are admin purely. They can run their system, just answering the questions. The system's been set up, they can't get it wrong. And they just fill in all the blanks, press the go button. The system goes off and creates the models and drawings and sends them to the engineer for checking. But the engineer, the first time they look at it is when they've got effectively a finished product in front of them, waiting to be approved.
From imagination to product in easy steps. See Bill.
There you go, Stuart. You've said it nice and just simplified right in there. Jeff, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, Bill, what actual niche market is most lucrative for you? Given the fact that design engineers, mechanical engineers are so ubiquitous throughout the world, there's so many markets you can go into, but which particular niche market or niche markets are most lucrative for you and something that you can scale quite readily?
It's really hard to answer, Jeff. The DriveWorks software is so generic, it can be used in anything. At this stage, I'm probably falling into a niche market of metal, such as sheds, garages, water tanks. That's more the larger scale design engineering. Because of the price point, $50,000, a small company is going to balk at that. But a large company can see, okay, $50,000, yeah, right. But I can tell you within 12 months, you'll have made twice that back easily, because it'll just make everything so much faster. So it tends to be slightly larger companies who consider the value of putting the time and effort into it. But I've seen people who do pens. There's a company that uses it for doing several different ways of doing pens, pool balustrading. So it's very hard to give you a niche market because it's so generic.
Kitchens and bathrooms.
Kitchens and bathrooms for the SWOOD software, yes, absolutely. That's the main focus on them, because they're everywhere, all over the place.
Can't live without a kitchen or a bathroom.
Yeah, I'm talking about DriveWorks as well, but yeah, SWOOD definitely kitchens and bathroom manufacturers. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Bill. Thanks, Jeff, for the question. Faith, you've got your hand up.
Yes, Bill, I was thinking about the DriveWorks, and you were talking about feeding into Word, and Excel, etc. So can that be used in more administrative environments simply, or does it have to be very technical and manufactured in a manufacturing environment?
Excellent question, Faith. Most people don't see that, but yes. The main focus, I guess, is the technical side of things, but there are a few companies who have the software purely for admin type of documentation. One company, for example, the lady, her task is every time there's a project, she has to source all the relevant government sort of documentation, the legal documentation, the technical documentation, and collate them into a package for each project. So they use the software, and she couldn't even spell DriveWorks, but she has a form she fills in, and it goes off and finds all the documents and copies them from where they are into a project folder. So that's definitely possible. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Faith. Dr. Chris.
Thanks, Bill. That was fascinating. I've been around long enough and had something to do with the early days of CAD over the years.
Okay.
Has CAD programs become less expensive over the years, or have they become? Has their cost increased kind of commensurate with their complexity?
Okay, cost has gone up, but if you take into account the cost of everything else, for example, give you numbers, quick numbers, a copy of SolidWorks is about $10,000. But if I go back to the mid-90s, on AutoCAD was probably $2,000.
Yeah.
So it was quite expensive then. So in some ways, $10,000 is not that expensive comparing apples to apples over the time. Certainly, in terms of power, they are 100 times, 1,000 times more powerful than they used to be.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, you could argue that they're cheaper per pound for pound, so to speak. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. That's great. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chris. And thank you, Bill, for being our speaker today.